Hi guys! On Monday, July 25th, the Instagram nail art community will be doing a memorial collaboration under the hashtag Sharing the Love for Ann Lee. We unfortunately lost her to depression on July 11th, and so for this memorial collaboration, I decided to recreate her rainbow feather. And if you'd like to see how I did my version, just stay tuned. Starting out with clean, dry nails, I'm going to go ahead and apply a base coat. I'm using Ready for Takeoff, which is a peel-off base coat, and you can use whichever is your personal favorite. For my base color, I'm going to be using white, and I'm going to be using Finger Paint's Paper Mache, just because it makes the little OCD part of me happy to be able to stay within one brand. You can use whichever white you prefer, although this is a very nice creamy one. You want to let your base color dry completely, and I did use a quick dry top coat to speed that up a little bit. Now I'm going to be using black acrylic paint to draw the feather, as well as a fairly small little brush. And the key is to kind of line your nails up next to each other so that you can get the feather flowing smoothly from one nail to the next. So I'm just going to, I think I'm going to kind of start out on the end, and no, I'm very indecisive here. You guys know freehand tends to kind of intimidate me. Okay, I'm going to start off over on the pinky here with the end of the feather and kind of connect that up to this nail, kind of curve slightly, and then continue over my middle nail and to the end. So that's not a super curvy line, but I think it'll do. Just going to thicken it up a little bit in some places, and then the original one, she painted white in the middle. I think what I'm going to do is allow it to dry and then scratch off. So once I finish making this a little bit thicker, I'm going to go ahead and, again, keeping my nails close to each other, I'm going to paint the outline of the feather around the outside. So right now it's kind of a thick, chunky mess, and I'm really having a lot of hope and faith in the scratch-off process. I am also doing it on my other hand. I know I've had a lot of comments just recently that people appreciate that I do both hands. So the next step, now that the acrylic is dry, acrylic paint, is to go in with a toothpick and scratch a white line through the center of the middle and clean up the outside. As I began scratching off the acrylic paint, I came to the realization that my base color was not as dry as I thought it was, and so that made it a little bit more difficult. I was able to fix it somewhat, but especially down the middle of the feather, I'm finding that I'm not able to really clean it up without wrecking the white underneath. So I am going to go back in and touch up with a little bit of white. So it's up to you If you decide to give this a try, I'd say either just clean up with white from the start, or make sure that your base color is actually really fully, completely dry before you start trying to scratch away the acrylic. In the original, the rainbow colors were also done with acrylic paint. I decided to do mine with the Finger Paints Poolside collection that I've used in my last couple waterfall videos. And I'm just going to apply those. I have a slightly larger brush. I may switch back to my smaller brush, but I'm just going to try and fill in as neatly as I can. I think this is looking a lot better with the colors in there, and will look even better after I top it all off with Seche Vite. So here's the finished manicure, and I will confess I got a little bit worried when I was having trouble, but I really like the way the finished version turned out. It was a little bit of a struggle, but after touching it up and adding in the colors, I think both hands turned out really well and pretty close to my inspiration. And I'll include a link to that down in the information box. I'm really hoping that her family leaves her page up to continue to inspire people, but I would understand if they took it down because some of the comments on there are really disrespectful, for one thing, and hard for them to read, I'm sure, for another. The last post that she did was Polish Mountain, and the comment section of that post in particular that I have read really devolved into something kind of messed up and very negative. Some people with the best of intentions started calling out some of the posters who had posted negative comments on that video and saying, you know, are you happy now? She killed herself because of your negative comment. And of course they responded, you know, attempting to defend themselves. But we'll never know whether it was an online comment or something in her real life that finally, you know, drove her to commit suicide. I saw some of the commenters saying, well, it's not my fault. I didn't tell her to kill herself. But you don't have to use those exact words for your comment to be taken in an extremely negative fashion by somebody that's already depressed. And, you know, another thing I see is, well, it's a free country. I have free speech. I can say whatever I want. But I think if you're leaving a negative comment, you really have to ask yourself, what is your goal in leaving this negative comment? Is expressing your right to free speech worth somebody perhaps taking it in such a way that it does drive them to kill themselves? I mean, it could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. You never know what's going on in someone's personal life. You never know how they're feeling. You don't know how depressed they are or how close to suicide they are. So I just think if you're going to leave that kind of a comment, really take a second and think, what is my goal in posting this? And if your goal is to make somebody feel bad about themselves, how bad would you feel if it went to this extent? Now, like I said, we'll never know if it was those negative comments or something in her real life. But the other side of it too is, and it's something I've been guilty of myself, all those people calling out the people that left negative comments. You could be doing the same thing back to them. There's a saying that hurt people hurt people. So those people that left negative comments may be in a depressed state themselves, and commenting mean things back to them is only perpetuating the cycle. And it's something I struggle with. It's, I think, a natural thing to react defensively when someone says something mean. But I think this is just an opportunity for everyone to just really think about how what you say can affect someone else. And really, like the old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, maybe don't say anything at all. Because there's a very fine line between constructive criticism and malicious criticism. And if you're not sure which side of the line you're on, you might be on the wrong side. So, you guys know I don't try to preach at you very often or get up on a soapbox, but this whole situation is really sad to me. And, yeah, I just wanted to say something. So, I hope her family has the support they need right now. And I know that this collaboration may seem silly to some, but it's the nail art community's way of coming together. And sometimes just coming together is the best thing you can do. So, all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this design. I hope you guys go check out her page, and maybe she can still inspire a lot of new nail artists going forward. So, as always, thanks for watching.